So, how was the film? Yes, good. First things first, do not go into this expecting a great film. It's very good, but I feel your enjoyment level will depend on how much of a fan you are of the series. There are several callbacks and recreations from the series. Some examples would be the first 5 to 7 minutes of the film, much of the music, and the climax of the film. I find it funny that before the film premiered, people were upset because the trailers were vague about the plot of the film. The Star Wars films, the original trilogy, are chase films, really. Another thing, I believe people are overselling the comedy in the film. Yes, there are funny parts, but what makes them stand out is the fact that the film itself is fun and there's always something happening. What I mean is during the quiet moments, they're not boring. Inflection shouldn't be confused with dullness. I enjoyed the majority of the characters. They had varying degrees of screen time and for the most part made the most of it. Of the main cast, Finn is probably my favorite. He seems to be the most fully realized character. He has an understandable motivation and the most well-rounded personality. Rey is a great character too, but I just feel that Finn had a more fulfilling character arc. Poe, I believe, was supposed to be this movie's Han Solo type. However, I think Finn has that part covered. That may be also why he disappears for a large part of the movie, only to randomly pop up again later in the film to save the day. I also thought the integration of the classic characters worked too. They had a significant part even though some of them had very limited screen time. Even though Luke's appearance is basically a glorified cameo. As for Kylo Ren, I really didn't like his character until the climax of the film when he confronts his father. At that moment, he came off as a conflicted character that could go either way, and that really got me to his side, and I felt I could understand him more and his motivations. Snoke, however, was disappointing. He had as much involvement here and lines as Thanos has in the Avengers films. Hopefully, he'll have more to do in Episode 8. Story-wise, The Force Awakens has a lot of similarities to the original trilogy. For example, the text crawl, a long tracking shot of a Star Destroyer chasing after a much smaller ship, the cantina scene, the trash can droid, one of the main characters being relayed to at least one of the classic crew. The major part of the climax of the film, and hell, the weapon too, is the same as A New Hope, just bigger. And finally, plans or a map shoved inside of a droid, and so on. Now here are some random thoughts that were going through my mind as the film was happening. Poe was captured and then tortured and then suddenly he pops up later to save the day. How? How did he escape from the First Order? Why didn't the First Order kill him after Kylo Ren got the info he needed? Why would the Resistance trust him immediately again so easily? I mean, hell, why would the Resistance trust Finn so easily? They know he's a former stormtrooper and he could be a spy for all they know. I'm glad that they didn't do the whole kill the black guy trope though, but they did fall into the liar revealed one. It's not that bad here because when the liar finally reveals the truth, they give a good, valid reason on why they lied to the person who has revealed the truth, deals with it in a reasonable manner, and they both move on. That's how you do it, people. The movie clocks in at a little over 2 hours long, but you don't feel the length. The story doesn't feel stretched out, and I'm glad about that. By the way, why wasn't Lando in this film? Damn it, Luke, say something. The MacGuffin of the first film was the Death Star plans. They were hidden inside a droid. For this one, it was a map leading to Luke's whereabouts, also located inside of a droid. Just how many Jedi did Luke train before the incident? The lightsaber duels look a lot better here because one, yes, they're less overly choreographed, but two, because you feel the weight of the emotion behind the fighting. I am glad the way the Rey and Finn versus Kylo Ren lightsaber fight went. Ren should have the upper hand since he has experience wielding the lightsaber and they don't. Once again, all the British actors trumped the American actors when it came to, well, acting. Also, in that particular scene, did the stormtroopers of the First Order perform a Siege Hail or a Black Power Fist? The Disney logo doesn't appear at the beginning of the film because allegedly they didn't want people to think that this film was Disney-fied. I've heard reviewers say that children shouldn't see this film because of the violence, but I disagree. There really isn't any blood spewing. There are a few drops here and there, but I figured if your kids can handle Ant-Man or the Avengers, then they can handle this. There's action, but it's not too violent. Oh yeah, one more thing. I'm really glad that there isn't a forced romance between Rey and Finn. After all, they've only known each other 1 to 2 days and not the requisite 3 days you have in a regular Disney movie. That trope has been beaten to death already. Men and women can just be friends and work with each other, I guess I have Mad Max Fury Road to thank for me getting used to IMAX 3D. The 3D was pretty immersive for the first half of the film, but I didn't notice it that much in the second half of the film. I probably should have just taken off the glasses after the first hour. What really helped my engagement of the film, however, was the CGI and practical effects balance. For the most part, it worked well. Like I said at the beginning, this is a good film. However, I feel if you come into this with nostalgia of the original trilogy, you'll enjoy it more than if you're not versed in it. Otherwise, at best, you might think this film is only okay. Also, if you want to go see this film, it's best to know at least the talking points about the Star Wars universe. Also, for the people who are tired about hearing about Star Wars for the last 2 months, the hype will die down in about a week and you can relax. Well, until Batman vs. Superman, Captain America Civil War, Deadpool, and Star Wars Rogue One,